a huge number of patients, including those that are not patients yet, will be affected. So I would encourage you, this time is not a time to fall ill. And for those who are ill, I pray that you get well soon, or possibly this strike is suspended as quickly as possible. We'll find out more from my guest this morning. He is the secretary of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Rivers State, Sikpi, Linus. Sir, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Comrade Fiemi, Andrew. Let me give you a
this
comment.
one, comrade. Please, oh. Please, oh.
We are recruiting.
He's my brother. I think you're from Brass.
I'm from Bayelsa, Southern Niger.
Oh, Southern Niger. All right.
Yes.
That goes. Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Let's look at this. I think my first question would not even be about this strike. My first question is is this your first strike as nurses? Is this the first one this year in recent times?
Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to first of all greet the people that are listening to Nigeria Info, and please always keep listening. To answer your question, this is the first strike of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives in the last 40 years.
Ooh.
We've never gone on strike as nurses.
Hold on. Last 40 years?
40 years.
And how long have you had these issues and demands that you're making on for now? How long has it been on?
These issues have been forever. However, we've been actually engaging government. Even last year, we issued ultimatum in September, which the government shunned us and never answered our prayers. Then we extended our ultimatum, and yet did not answer us. Then
no communication whatsoever, nothing.
We were at the discussion table. We had some. I think you are aware that there was a time we were talking about this Japa syndrome, verification, no verification portal closed for nurses traveling out and the rest. So the only thing they did was to open the verification portal, while other bigger issues that affect Nigerian nurses that will encourage people in Nigeria weren't attended to. So it's just laxity of government for the past 6 months doing nothing about it until today we are here.
40 years, and this is the first time you're embarking on a strike over issues that have been there for, let's say, the past 30-something years.
Exactly.
Okay. Was any meeting held with the government before this strike? Was there any communication with the government? Because if these issues have been there for over 30-something years and ultimatums have been given, I'm pretty sure memos have been written, letters have been sent to the ministry and other authorities, people are aware. How come it wasn't resolved is a question that right now I'm dumbfounded. But was there any meeting? Did you have any conversation before you went on the strike?
Yes. The association doesn't just go on strike. We are guided by the Trade Union Act of 2004, Laws of Federation of Nigeria. And by that, we communicate earlier. Strike is a product of a dispute that government hasn't listened to our demands over the time in normal dialogue way, writing requests and demands, and nothing is done. Then that's when we proceed on strike. An ultimatum is still given for 15 days before you now embark on strike. Like I said, we had given ultimatum earlier before now, but they never answered our prayers. And this time around, we gave another ultimatum again, and they allowed it to expire. Government is funny that what they do is they will keep your ultimatum till when it is one day to go.
Then they come. That's the standard.
And that tactics is simply just to discourage your members from believing in the association. Because immediately you call off or relax that ultimatum at that dying minute, your members will say, not be the same. Now don't go collect bribe. And that's how it ends there. And the government will also go back and sleep, just like the way they did in September last year.
September last year when you had the ultimatum,
yes,
same thing happened.
Exactly. We gave ultimatum of 15 days in September 2nd last year. We extended the ultimatum by 15 days again on the 16th of September again, that same last year. And nothing was done about these things. And they left us until this time again, this year, we have released another ultimatum for 15 days again. And they did not answer, okay, since you guys are joking with us, okay, can we now down tool to maybe, since the strike is the only call that you answer and the language that you answer. So that is the way we are going about it.
Because it looks like already we have the ministry saying, well, you guys should come to the negotiation table and something needs to be done. You have to suspend the strike. Is there any plan of suspending this strike anytime soon?
See, the association, these are nurses. Nurses are humane people. They feel. Like yesterday, we were in UPTH, we were in RSUTH, we were in general hospitals, we were in Professor Kelsalson Hospital. We were going around to monitor the strike, and we saw people struggling for their lives. And we feel too, if government meets our demand today as we speak, the national headquarters will call off this strike and we'll go back to work. And
do you think government will meet your demands?
The problem is government. It's not even last night there was a meeting. The federal the federal minister of health, Professor Ali Pate, had a meeting with the national leadership of the association, and there was no way forward yet. And even the federal minister of labor had met with, but they are not sincere.
How about you guys take this minister to the hospital to see what patients are suffering? Because from what you're saying, are you saying that the government is not feeling? Because you say nurses, you go and you feel because you're seeing patients, you're seeing, but then there's nothing you can do. Is it that they are saying that they are not, the minister and the government is not feeling?
The government is not feeling because they politicians, they have access. They can have access to any kind of healthcare, either private or abroad or whichever way. But this is suffering the Nigerian masses, the poor masses that access this healthcare because they cannot afford the common private hospitals that they do not have $3,000 or £3,000 to be paying every day for. So it is, Nigerian government would want the Nigerians to suffer before they even answer you. And taking them to the hospital, they are the owners of the hospital. They know what is happening. They've seen it on camera. They've seen it everywhere. Even on the news last night, if you had seen the news, there were interviews. And they have seen what is happening. Even if they are in the comfort of their glorified homes, they will see what is happening in the facilities. People are on oxygen.
Even without saying, they ought to know that this will be the implication.
Exactly. They know because in the hospital without a nurse, you cannot take care of anything. You cannot do it because the hospital, nurses are the hospital. Nurses own the hospital. That's why even before a doctor comes into the ward, the person has to meet the nurse and say, I want to see a patient, so please, is this patient here? You wouldn't say, okay, fine. It's here. And the nurse can also say, the patient is busy, he's eating or he's busy. Can you come back in a few minutes? The nurses own the ward. So when nurses leave, the owners of the ward leave, the patients are just helpless out there. I was at the accident and emergency unit of University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. About 3 patients, they were on oxygen, some were on blood. And they have no nurse to care for, no nurse to be cared for because the government that are sitting in Aso Rock and everywhere, they are not concerned that these people, whether they die or not, after all, they are not us.
Because what's shocking to me is that you saying, over the years, people have usually say, "Oh, doctors, you should put life first. If you're in that if you're in that field, life should be the first thing." I've always agreed to some extent, but I also feel like the person that is putting life first also has life.
Exactly.
So his life should also be intact. But beyond that is when you say this is the first time you're thinking of a strike in 40 years,
yes.
Then anybody who's reasonable would say that means there's something really wrong.
Exactly.
And this has been wrong for a while, but you've refused to embark on any strike.
Exactly.
And looks like if you don't embark on a strike, nothing will be solved. Is that what you think?
That is just exactly the perspective and the mentality of the government in power. Like 40 years, it's not just, we are talking about military government, successive governments over 40 years. It's not today something. And it is a continuum. It seems they hand over the wickedness from one government to another that we shouldn't answer what nurses are asking for. Now, we are doing this so that Nigeria health sector will be revived and be vitalized so that even the poor masses, like the beds that we saw, the beds that patients lie on in those wards in the UPTH, they are due for change.
Who is responsible for that? Because we have CMDs. I think they call them CMDs.
The CMDs are there.
So what are they doing? And monies come now. Don't monies come? So what are they doing?
Is the willpower of government. Government will also say, let us manage this, but they don't manage for themselves.
Because every time we've talked about, we've had plenty of run-ins with the UPTH management, with different stories that we've had. Sometimes we've had to go undercover and see things and situations, and then the report comes, you're giving bad image, this is not true, that's not true. You work there. How much can you tell us that is true about what people say? I've had patients there. I've seen where a procedure was going on and they took light go. Yeah, and we basically saw the doctor who came to do the surgery saying, what nonsense is this that is going to leave? And you have people running to, where the person they get this day. And at that moment, I'm just standing there. I'm like, what is going on? How is it that bad? Because when people say these things, the hospital comes and says, no, it's a lie, nothing like that. And sometimes want to threaten you with legal suits as though you are stupid. Like, you now begin to feel like you did not go there and this thing did not happen to you. So is it that bad? Let us have a clear idea. Because if you have CMDs and money is coming, the first point of the first place to spend that money would be for the infrastructure of the hospital, the well-being of staff, and basic things that will make sure that patients that come there are comfortable during their stay. So what's happening?
I think both of us know that the only reason why we have CMDs and management staff is to defend the government. So there is no way a CMD or a government staff at that level will come and say something is wrong. It is the electricity problem in the hospital is sometimes even worse than what's happening to the masses in some areas, especially government houses in Nigeria have more light than the hospitals. So it's not supposed to be so. Nurses are using phone in the night on night duty. Nurses use phone to take care of patients. And this is not just peculiar to UPTH, it's not just peculiar to RSUTH, it's across Nigeria. It is as bad as that. What is solar energy? We are blessed with oil and gas resources. So why do we even of all places, why a hospital that is supposed to be saving lives? There's not supposed to be any blame. If we talk about the issues in the hospital, it will be so bad. But I don't know if we will need to actually focus on our own demands.
We'll get onto your demands, yes. But I wanted us to hold that until when we come after the break, so we have time to x-ray the demands. But for now, is to understand the working conditions of nurses so that we picture why you're really going on this strike.
Yeah. We want a better Nigeria hospital system, healthcare system, that when we, the masses, because this is a class disparity issue. It's about the class issue. So the higher class and the lower class. So now we, the lower class, can be able to walk into a hospital and have good and quality healthcare. And mind you, it is not about the manpower there. It is about the facilities. It's about the government. It's about the will of government, because it is these same Nigerian nurses that are making up 25% of all the immigrant nurses in the UK and across the world.
And they're doing fantastic.
They are doing very well. The best doctors are Nigerian doctors. The best nurses are Nigerian nurses out there. So what is wrong? It is the system. It is the system and the politicians and the leaders that we have in the system. It's not about our training. Our training is the top notch. A Nigeria doctor, a doctor made a statement from this passing of our former president, may so rest in peace, that it seems you guys have a good training system, but you don't have good facilities. That is a good mockery of the system. That is the best description that we have. We have good, tedious system that you go through and you be very, very competent, but
no place to practice.
No place to practice. You have to improvise for everything.
Let's take a short commercial. When we come back, we'll go into your demands and then we open the phone lines and take questions. Good morning. Conversation continues.
I don't know, man. These days,
Sikpi, Linus. My name is Ifeyemi Andrew. In the first half of our conversation, we had looked at some of the issues surrounding the strike. And one thing we found out that was very crucial was the fact that nurses in the country haven't gone on any strike for the past 40 years. This is the first time they're embarking on a strike. Meanwhile, the issues for which they are striking for now has been there for over 30-something years. And there's been several letters, ultimatums issued, and so on and so forth. But these things never had been given the needed attention. Well, here we are. Also put into the frame, doctors may. If doctors eventually decide to embark on a strike, what's the fate of the average Nigerian who needs medical help? Well, I'll come to my guest now and let's find out what the demands of nurses exactly is. What are they asking for? Why are they on this strike? Yeah, I said a few things about the facility in different hospitals across the country, how nurses have to even use torchlights to work because power situation. We have steady power at the vice president's office that was built with billions of naira. Exactly. But then we don't have power in hospitals and nobody's talking. We're changing names of international conference centers and we are giving hundreds of millions of naira to people who play football. Not because it's bad, but people are saying if you can do that easily, why can't the same thing apply to these important sectors with ease? Well, how come when it's time for these sectors, we need to have committee upon committee upon committee to look at another committee, to have another meeting before they decide something that eventually would not be done? Well, Mr. Sikpi,
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Talk to us. What are the things that are the problems, the problem that nurses are facing that caused you guys to say we're going on this strike?
Okay, thank you. We have just 9 demands. And these 9 demands can easily be done and answered within 48 hours if the government is willing to. Now, number 1 is the gazetting of the Unified Scheme of Service for Nurses. Now, what is the Unified Scheme of Service for Nurses? It is how nurses progress from level this to this and this. And this was approved by this same government in 2016 in Osogbo. And it is the gathering of the National Council on Establishment that brought out this memo to the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation, who released a circular stating that this is the Unified Scheme of Service that the nurses will be using. And since then, they have not gazetted it into the public service rules, that this is how nurses will progress. So now we are saying gazette this thing into the system. Because if there's no gazetting, the hospitals and other persons will say, we are yes, there is a circular of government, yes, there is this and that, but we cannot implement this. Or because if you go to some facilities, they will say they are operating the 2003 own. Some persons will say they are operating this 2009 own and the rest. But now this 2016 agreement is yet to be gazetted, and it can take just 24 hours to gazette it. When there was a declaration of state of emergency,
it was swift now. It was less than 24 hours.
They gazetted it.
They've gazetted it. In fact, they had appointed the sole administrator before they even did gazetting.
Exactly, they gazetted it immediately. So we are saying gazette this thing. It doesn't take time. Then another thing, number 2, is the implementation of NIC judgment of 2012. We had a judgment from the National Industrial Court. We had a case with the federal government of how nursing profession should look like according to global practices. And the global best practice have already stipulated some factors which we have presented to the court. And the court now said, okay, give them these things. So it is their own court. That is our own court. Let me say our own court, because it's an arm of government. So now the court has said, give them these things. But till today, since 2012 till date, the government has not implemented any of those judgments from government. This one is not even a demand. It's even the court telling government to do this. Then another one is the upward review of professional allowances for nurses. Now, if you get the nurse's salary in this Nigeria, per annum, your per annum salary of an average nurse is a weekly salary of a nurse
How
abroad.
much is the annual salary of a nurse?
We can just say, let's say, 1,800,000, 1,700,000, thereabout. We even with this
1.8, 1.7
yes, annually. Yes. So if you divide it, you are talking about 100 and something thousand naira. How would that even make you survive?
Can't pay your rent.
It cannot pay your rent. If you multiply it, you can even per annum it cannot pay your rent. So how do you feed? How do
exactly.
You
Now per annum rent is about 1 something million.
How do you clothe? So it is too poor. We are saying, okay, can we up this? We are not saying be at par with what is happening in UK or in America or wherever. We are saying just up these things a little. Give us at least 200% increase for all the allowances that are on ground, so that at least if a nurse is earning up to let's say 5 million naira per annum, we can say, okay, from that 5 million you can use 1 point something to pay your rent, because government is supposed to provide accommodation for staff. It's normal civil service.
And they don't.
Yes, they don't provide accommodation. So where will the nurses stay? Like let's say in Rivers State, we have about 800 and something nurses. In UPTH, we have about 600 and something nurses. Where are they staying? They are paying their rents with this same meager sum of money. So if government is not providing any of these things, so kindly improve our salaries and let us have these things. Like there was a circular that came out from the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission of the federal government, stating that they have improved the allowances recently on June 26th, which is vehemently rejected because they were adding 200 naira, 300 naira, 100 and something naira to the allowances that are there. So we said this thing cannot even buy chewing gum. What type of increment is this in this? And now that you have already pushed the price of fuel to what we cannot even afford, and fuel demands everything that we buy, consume, the food stuff, everything is high. So why are we doing this to our people? And these are not aliens. These are Nigerian people. So then another thing is the employment of nursing personnel for health facilities across the country. Let me use Rivers State for an example. We have 362 primary health facilities, and 262 of them are without a single nurse. Now,
are you serious?
Yes, we have the statistics.
Over 200.
We only have 201 staff in the primary health care system of Rivers State.
As nurses.
And if you share one nurse per each facility, it cannot still go around because we have 362 primary health facilities. Recently, I think Peter Odili built another one in Andoni, which is making it 363 now.
And you can't have just one nurse in.
You cannot have. There is a minimum standard from government, from the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, that there should be at least 8 nurses per each primary health center. So if you multiply that, we have the figure. And nurses are out there seeking for employment. They are not being employed. And even the recent employment of governments,
it was basically doctors, I remember.
Just doctors, admin staff, and others. Even the doctors are still short staff. So, like, River State situation is even little. Like, let's just take a Cross River State, because we are talking about national. Cross River State has over 1,000 primary health facilities. Cross River State, but they have less than 76 nurses in the primary health sector.
No, you're not serious. No, you're not serious.
It will look as if it is far-fetched.
Yeah,
but that's the reality.
This is shocking. How can you have over 1,000 facilities?
Yes.
But the government will go and say we have built healthcare centers for you. We have built healthcare centers, and then you have just
the only build. Who will take care of it? Is it lizard and the snake that will take care of the people in the health facilities? The only build, and even recently the federal government said they want to build 10,000 extra primary health facilities. In the last meeting that we had our nurses week, the primary health care representative was there from National Primary Health Care Development Agency. I told her that you guys said you want to build and renovate 10,000. Where are the nurses that you guys are also employing to fill it? It's not about building and taking pictures. You know, we like politicians, we like this paparazzi.
Yeah, to say that we have built. And then the people are the ones singing the praise.
There's no staff in these facilities to take care of. In Bayelsa State, go to Bayelsa State here. They have less than that too. In where I come from.
You have an idea how many they have?
See, Bayelsa State is even worse than Rivers.
How many?
Let me take for example, Southern Niger. Southern Niger has less than 150 health workers. I mean, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, everybody. And we have over 140 something communities. So
wait. About 100 health workers.
Not just, everyone.
So which means the nurses could be like 10 or 15.
Thereabout. So we don't have enough anything anywhere. And that's why we are saying government employ nurses.
So when they say they are employing, I think there was an employment that was supposed to go on in Bayelsa State. So what were they employing? Or who were they employing? Or where were they employing them to?
It is the government that you ask that one. Because they will be doing that. They will be saying they are doing this, but it is not feasible. It's not helping us at all. So we are saying government should take drastic action to ensure that, like UPTH here needs at least 1,000 extra nurses to be able to have a minimal standard to manage these patients. 1,000 need to go in there.
All right,
and let me just finish up
with the demand.
And they just graduated about 15,000 nurses just January here across the nation. So where are these people? They are just loitering. Some of like one of the senator, is it Shehu Sani? He was mocking nurses that they are selling donuts. That government should listen to us. So after you are qualified, you now go and sell donut and do POS work while there is supposed to be a space for you. Then let me conclude with the demand. Then also we are talking about creation of Department of Nursing in Federal Ministry of Health, which has not yet been done. And it is in the judgment that we should have a department to manage because departments are created for management of staff and supervision and monitoring and the rest. Then another thing is inclusion of nurses in leadership and policy making bodies. We have been relegated to the background on that area. So we said put us there as well. Then also we are talking about inclusion of nurses in policy making bodies. Okay, that I've talked about. Fair representation by the association on boards and membership of federal institutions. That has also been one of our demands. Then centralization of internship for posting graduate nurses and consultancy in nursing. Now, this internship wahala, nurses will graduate from our facilities, our universities, and they will be without internship placement. Some stay there for 5 years. They don't get space because the few facilities that are like in this state, RSUTH, that is BMH, and UPTH, presently then one private facility is running an internship. So, and they take less.
I hear it's difficult to even get internship.
It is difficult. You have,
but you don't have staff.
They don't have staff.
You don't have the nurses. You don't have enough. Then for internship, it's difficult to get. Why? I don't understand why.
It's difficult because they will say
you have to know somebody that knows somebody.
Exactly, and know somebody, and sometimes they will even ask you for
to pay something
before you get in. So we said let there be centralization of internship. So that as you are graduating there, they are posting you direct, so that they will not go and struggle for this internship placement.
Let's take some calls.
So that is those are the demands.
0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0007. You can also call 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0002. I hear that in some of the hospitals, people have to buy their things that are used to treat them by themselves. And there's also the complaint about the attitude and behavior of some nurses in that regard, because they now sell these things, or you have, say some of them even have their own, some of the doctors have their own something outside the hotel to go and buy. I remember a patient from when we were, one of the, in fact, I mean, I had the name UPTH. We had to go buy gloves. You go and they'll tell you, and you go outside and go and buy these things. Is it that the provisions for this are not there? Or then the nurse will tell you, you have to go, what the glove doctor will wear, nurse will wear. I mean, I cannot come and touch it. Why is it that way?
Now, in standard practice, there is normal procedure that you have to wear gloves, you have to wear this for your personal protection and also protection of the nurses, because you don't know what I carry. I don't know what you carry. I may know what you carry because I've tested you. So now, wearing of gloves and this thing, the government is not providing enough that will go around. They only provide the few that you may use to maybe handle the equipment in the facility and the rest. So most of these things, you ask the patient to go and buy outside or in the pharmacy within the hospital. So these things now lead to bringing back more of this pressure of financial pressure on the patient that is seeking healthcare. So if the government can be sincere and even bring sponsor, because now it's supposed to be 15% of the budget. Healthcare budget is supposed to be 15% of every budget. That is the standard from the World Health Organization. But we have less than sometimes 4.3%, sometimes 2.something%, and thereabout. That is how it happens. So it cannot be.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning.
Hello, Chiamianzo. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I greet your guests as well. My name is Muriel from Africa.
All right, Muriel, go on.
Well, I just want to tell your guests So please, if you can highlight some of the demands of the nurses, because some persons will just be somewhere and begin to believe that, it's because of just their remunerations and just increment of their salaries. Some persons will just feel it's selfish. So just highlight one or two.
He already did. I don't know if you joined in late, but he already highlighted 9 of their demands. We just finished that now before opening the phone lines. But I'll get him to highlight them again.
I joined before the first set of the program. After the adverts are now a marathon or something. Okay, that's good. And as what there is a story he brought up. He said he went to UPPH and he saw some persons on oxygen and some persons that need blood, and there were no nurses. I want to ask, is it that, should it be a case where they can just keep maybe 1 or 2 nurses just to save life? Because trust me, if persons die, it is we that would not, those people that they are making demands for, and they will not feel it, they will not have any blood. So is it okay if 1 or 2 nurses just stay, just to attend to 1 or 2? No, I know they will be overwhelmed, but 1 or 2 selected very serious cases.
All right.
If they can just do that for us.
I'll see if he can respond to that. Let's take a few more calls first before we come back to him. Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother out there.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, in fact, I sympathize with you people because we are all Nigerians and we are seeing what is happening. These are people who establish these hospitals here and there, and they will abandon it and go to outside countries to take care. Then why did you establish this one? You would have allowed everything so that everybody would be going to outside to have a treatment. In as much as I'm sympathizing with you, please, people should look into our own plight. Like what that last speaker said. If somebody is in intensive care, nobody takes care of that person. We are human beings. I am pleading, please, those ones that are so serious, take care of them wherever this strike is going on. This is equivalent to what is happening in Nigerian police. You will send a policeman to go on patrol. You give him a vehicle, no fuel. The vehicle he will take care. I don't know where we are going to. Please, I'm sorry. In fact, if I have the opportunity, I will say we should continue so that we will know the state of things in this country. And people should stop them from traveling to go and take treatment outside there so that everybody will suffer it here. Please, God will help people to achieve their aim in Jesus' name.
Amen.
0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0002. Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Yeah, good morning, Ifemi Andrew.
Yep, go on.
Yeah, Comrade Letambari Sunday. I'm calling from Buri. Yeah, good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yes, I am listening to your guest kindly, and I visit him with a pity because listening to all his analysis and all he has said, it looks very disheartening. And if it is like this, then we are not going to grow to anywhere. Looking at a nurse who is actually working for a government and hand gloves and nose masks cannot be even provided in an hospital that is recognized, then you expect out of the salary you are paying a nurse to go and buy hand gloves, buy nose masks, and other things that will protect him. And you know, these people are facing a lot of health hazards. I don't know, those of us who said we are educated in this country and we are political leaders, we really sit down and reason if it were our sons and daughters that are, representing us in serving in these hospitals, can we allow this kind of situation to actually persist? It is a question we need to ask ourselves. If we say we are really determined to serve our own country and our state, we should consider these people as our own blood too. I want to advise our political leaders, both in the federal and in the state, to consider whenever people are working for them, to see it as they themselves too. That if their families, if not because they have money to go to abroad to treat themselves, how about their families, their relatives in the villages who go to these hospitals to do these things, to take this health care? Please, I want to advise our state and federal government to see into what the nurses are asking for.
Thank you, Letambari. I like that this is coming from you. Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Good morning.
All right, good morning.
Andrew is cooking from Andrew.
Okay.
And I listened to your guest this morning. I felt very strange this morning for this country called Nigeria. My beloved. Which Nigeria? Which way to go? And it's important to hear this. The guest gave. I want to beg you, Andrew, please. I want to beg you against too. Let the strike continue. All the minds are met. Because people have traveled 17 times out of this country for treatment for less than 3 years. Then, but poor man will go and die UPTH. So I beg them, let them continue this strike. If you affect my relationship, let it affect it. Let it continue because this people cannot really. I know it's not this because he traveled to abroad every day for treatment, so it does not bother. None of them bother. Let it strike continue. Thank you, Andrew. Good morning.
Right.
Thank you so
Good
much.
morning, Nigeria Info.
Good morning, my brother, man. My name is Good News. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, good news. Go on.
Will I say I am sad? Will I say I am annoyed? Will I say I am bitter in my spirit?
You are sad, annoyed.
How I wish Nigerians, the Nigerian youth, understand the level of degradation this country has gone into. They will not come on air to say they are supporting these wicked leaders. They will not go and collect money to counter-protest against the people protesting for their own government. How I wish the police will understand the level at which they have made this country to fall in. They will not take serious orders to shoot tear gas and chase people and kill people during protest. How I wish. You can imagine the wickedness. Look at in the health sector. We are talking about the NCCS. We are talking about the refinery. Suddenly we start hearing about them. I was just listening about the GMO. We're talking about that one. Look at you don't know that even the health sector that would not have up to one more spa clinic, spa health center. And they were making noise that they will build this, they will build that, they will done this. Oh God. After the time the River State of Amechi that employed 400 doctors, how far have they flexed them? I'll just sit here. From my retiring even staff, I'm talking to some women retiring very soon. The numbers you just said, that's depreciating. And yet the government is doing nothing. I'm happily annoyed. My name is Goodies from Port Harcourt.
All right, good news. Thank you very much. Let's take some comments. We'll take some comments on WhatsApp and a few on Facebook before we come and conclude with my guest. Zabi Kale says, I think what is going on in this country is lack of proper governance and focus. As you can see, nurses deserve what they are striking for, but the government will look elsewhere. I weep. Blessed Allah said, let's stop our leaders going to foreign medical treatment, and if we do this, Nigeria medical system will become meaningful. Blessed Allah says, corruption is the major problem of passing through in this country, and that's what this strike is for. But unfortunately, election is coming, and in old fashion, Nigerians will do what Nigerians do. That's just the problem. Like
we forget so soon.
We'll forget, and we'll do whatever we do. We'll hail the ones that our leaders, like one of the callers was saying, we'll shout this, we'll do that, and like easily everybody gets swayed and forgets everything, and we remain where we are. But what some of the callers, I think the first person, Muriel, was saying, is that possible to happen? Even if I think I know what you would say, but humorous. Is it possible? Is it possible that we have some people? Because yes, it's important that you get these demands met. Some people usually would tell me that the government is gambling on the people to campaign for them to stop these people that are striking. Somebody was telling me this. That's the strategy. The government knows that the people at some point will begin to plead with those people that are on strike, that people will die. In the case of ASU, our children, that was when I was told this, our children are at home. It's been too long. That the people will now be the ones to begin to plead, and then government will come and just say, okay, you see, let's ride on that. But that said, do you think that you can do something?
Like I told you earlier, when I visited the UPTH and other health facilities across River State to ensure that the strike is holding, we also felt pity for those people gasping for breath, and for the fact that these are our class. Like I said, there is a class disparity
So we are all on the lower class.
We are
There's
all
no
in the
middle
lower
class in this country
There's no
anymore.
middle. So it's a class consciousness that we need to build in this country. Now, going to our own question, can we allow few nurses to go in there? Government wants few nurses to go in there so that they will not even answer our problems, our challenges. Nurses are ready, like we're reassuring the patients there. A lady that just delivered a day before the strike started, she was there without care, and a lady that just delivered needs care, needs changing of her pad, changing of a lot of things, and taking care of herself. But nobody is there to do it because the government said we should go on strike before they can even answer our
Does this include
our
nurses
demands.
in the private sector?
No, nurses in private sector are still there. They're still there, but we are still going on to unionize all of them so that when something like this is happening in this,
everybody goes
everywhere will shut down, whether private and public. And that is where we are heading to. So it is not possible for us to release some nurses to be there because the effect of the strike, this is like a revolution. In revolution, there are pains. This is the pains that we want Nigerians to also bear with us. That we are pained, that you are pained. That's why we are also working that everyone comes out happy. But there will definitely be pain. So that one, It may not be possible. But what we can appeal is that let every Nigerian call on the federal government to answer nurses. Give these things. It's just within 48 hours. They will do everything if they are ready. If the president comes, okay, gazette this thing within 48 hours. Do this one. Appoint these people. That is just it.
All right, Mr. Sikpi. Thank you very much. That's how much we can take. We have to go for a commercial now, and then the business world news follows at 9. Hello, Port Harcourt with Jude comes in immediately after that. Do have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you.
One day now, one day. Walk no go rest, keep it. Say you still fit go